Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I wanted to talk about Enneagram 6 and INFP. Most INFPs are Enneagram 9 or 4, and then the next tier is probably like 6 and 2. And then there's INFPs in all Enneagrams, it's just they're less common. And I'm an INFP 6 wing 7. My tri-type is then like 4 wing 3 maybe. I'm not sure if it's 4 wing 5 anyway. And my last one is 1 wing 9. Oh yes, ones tend to be like in the middle tier of INFP. And I don't really put much stock in Enneagram, just a disclaimer, because it's not as it doesn't make as much sense as MBTI because it doesn't have the system with the cognitive functions. It's not as well studied. It's a little bit just fluffy in comparison, but it does reflect how certain people view the world, since it talks about core fears, core desires, and it is a little bit designed to make you feel uncomfortable about things like shame and behavior and stuff. So as a 6 wing 7, like most sixes, I have a lot of anxiety, and that plays out in like my whole life. I have taken out the page on Enneagram 6 so that I can focus on certain parts. Maybe some things that I take up here are not specific to INFPs, I just happen to be one, but maybe I can relate to other Enneagram 6s out there. Enneagram is not as fun as MBTI because it goes into your core fears. So it's not as positive, and it makes you realize bad stuff about yourself. So let's see. Enneagram type 6 is called the loyalist in a lot of descriptions. And that makes sense. I'm loyal. So I relate to that. But maybe I'm not loyal in the SJ manner. I'm loyal to my friends. I'm loyal to my family. I find my love goes to them, and it shows up in being loyal. And it's called committed, security-oriented type, engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. And this is from the Enneagram Institute. And sure, I wish I were responsible. But again, that's more of an SJ thing. But yes, that is a big thing of mine, that I want to be responsible, even though maybe I'm not. And I don't know about engaging really, maybe that's more of an extrovert thing. But I want to be kind of interesting. And anxious, yeah, I have anxiety. And suspicious. And that can be true. I am slow to trust people. So that's kind of the suspicion. Even though I don't have the suspicion of change that maybe some SJ types would have. Enneagram 6 is the description is very much an ISTJ, ISFJ kind of a description for some reason. And so we're committed, security-oriented, and yes, a lot of my life is about finding security. Even though my life is not crazy, I have a secure lifestyle, I'm always wanting to maintain that. So I don't want to like go out of my way to do like crazy shit. Reliable, hardworking, responsible, and trustworthy. Well, I want to be those things, even though maybe I'm not always. I want to be. It says excellent troubleshooters. They foresee problems and foster cooperation, which is, yeah, I do foresee problems, which gives me a lot of anxiety, but yeah. And I want to foster cooperation because that's the way we get to most goals, in my opinion, is by being there for each other. That can also become defensive, evasive, and anxious, running on stress while complaining about it. Yeah, that's me. I complain about stuff and I am defensive and anxious, and maybe I can be evasive by avoiding my problems. And yeah, I love to complain, so yeah. They can be cautious and indecisive, but also reactive, defiant, and rebellious. So yes, there's this thing about sixes that they can be phobic, meaning that they're like scared of everything and avoid everything, and or counterphobic, where they take that fear and like turn it into like being against the system. And you can have both within the same person. And I relate to that because I am, for the most part, like the phobic six. Like I'm scared of everything, and everybody knows that I'm anxious. Like people see it on me. There's even somebody who commented on one of my videos that I seemed anxious, and that is how I am. But I'm also I kind of get mad about authority because I get irrationally angry about systems and stuff, and that's a bit of my INFP like inferiority that comes out. But like I get so it's like it's the core of me is usually being scared, but sometimes I'm just so mad I can't allow myself to be scared. So I get a little bit rebellious in a way sometimes. And I am reactive. Like when people say stuff, I don't like stay passive like some people do. I'm always like reacting, even if it's not outside, it's in my head. And that's where the being sensitive is kind of hard. But I'm always reactive, and I'm reacting to others, and I'm not initiating most stuff. It's mostly people do stuff, and I'm reacting to it. Then it says they typically have problems with self-doubt and suspicion. Yeah. At their best, internally stable and self-reliant, courageously championing themselves and others. And yeah, I wish I were stable and self-reliant. There is a strength to the INFP that is kind of like the self-reliance, but stability, like, no. And I do want to support myself and other people. Then it says the basic fear of being without support and guidance. Basic desire to have security and support. And the thing with Enneagram is that it sometimes hurts how real it is, because it absolutely terrifies me to not be to not have support and guidance. And so I'm constantly seeking that, which kind of goes against like what an INFP is all about, because we're perceivers, and also we're like, FI and NE is not like the most security-oriented functions. So it's hard, like I'm always battling myself. But that doesn't really correspond to how other INFPs would see it if they're Enneagram 4s or 9s. It's not as much of a big deal for them. Then it says if you're a 6 with a 5 wing, you're called the defender, and if you're a 6 with a 7 wing, you're called the buddy. And like, those names like suck, but I guess I like my friends, so I'll be the buddy. I guess that we don't want to be in the spotlight. We want to be there for our friends. So friends is a big thing. Then it says the key motivations is want to have security, to feel supported by others, to have certitude and reassurance, to test the attitudes of the others towards them, the fight against anxiety and insecurity. Okay. Then it says the meaning of the arrows, and like if you are going towards the right direction or the wrong direction, like in terms of self-development. The disintegration is when you're under stress and everything goes to shit. Dutiful 6s suddenly become competitive and arrogant at 3. And sometimes I wish I were 3, like I want to be competitive and not care about being secure all the time. But it's not a good place for a 6 to be in, because you just are so mad, and also you're so you've got all this self-doubt because you're not as effective as other people, and not as you're not achieving stuff, which like a 3, it places a lot of importance on their appearance in terms of being competent and being successful. So a lot of my insecurities when I'm at my stress, I'm like the least competent person in the world. I have to achieve these goals. And that's where the inferior TE in my INFP stack comes out. Then it says that if I move towards growth, then you move towards being the pessimistic 6s become relaxed and optimistic, like a healthy 9. And I do envy the 9s because they are so relaxed. And as a 6, I'm like never relaxed. So when there are INFPs, there are 9s, which are a lot of, I'm like, how do they achieve that level of zen? And I realized, well, it's only by working on myself that I can get to that point. But a lot of 9s, they don't have a problem with being zen. They have a problem with being too zen and not having enough of their own opinions. So at 6s, if they work on themselves, they can become relaxed and optimistic, like they say, because 6s are very pessimistic, and that is something that people have said about me, that I know about myself. I'm pretty pessimistic. Then there are some examples, and I don't know, but it says like Princess Diana is an Enneagram 6 and an INFP. And in this list, there are tons of people. I don't know if any of them are INFPs. Apparently, Frodo Baggins is an Enneagram 6 INFP. So that makes me feel good. But yeah, he wants to live in the Shire and the Hobbits. Then there's like an explanation about what 6s are about and stuff. But this video is getting too long, so I'll skip it. It says that there are some recommendations about like being anxious and how to cope with anxiety, basically, and to trust people, and not overreacting, working on finding your own sense of security. And it says also, others often think better of you than you realize. Few people are really out to get you. So that's it. about being an INFP 6 from what I can read here. I'm a 6-wing 7, so it makes me a little bit more wanting to have fun and avoid pain rather than the usual. Most people identify with the 6-wing 5, but I think I'm a 6-wing 7. It makes me scared, but like sometimes I don't give a shit about being scared. I can't deal with it anymore, so I have to like do something else and distract myself. So that's all. Tell me what Enneagram type you are in the comments. I'm always interested in like any kind of personality theory. As I said, Enneagram is not really my forte. It's because I don't find much. I don't find as much value in it as the MBTI, and also I find it difficult to work with because it's not about developing a function. It's about like your whole lifestyle, and it's hard for me to like. Yeah, I mean, I was already conscious that I was anxious about stuff before learning about Enneagram. This didn't really give me much more to think of. It just made me think a little bit like about the pessimism and the trusting others and suspicion. That is something I can work on, and I can work on my anxiety if I know where it comes from. And it's true that now I know that I'm a type that is prone to anxiety because I'm focusing so much on security. So that's about Enneagram 6. Bye.